Gemini, welcome to your reading. We have so much positive going for you. We have the axis of pursuit of happiness activated for you right now, which brings in opportunities to initiate new projects that you're truly passionate about, as well as brings focus to love, positivity, joy, confidence, and children. All the things that bring you joy and happiness are activated right now, and we are rediscovering what blocks that joy. At the same time, with the 20th of October full moon, we will have an opportunity to launch something that we have been working on behind the scene over the course of last couple of months to a wider set of audience. It's your time to socialize, to interact with people, all the things that you love to do. But at the same time, we do have some undercurrents in play right now. Even though Saturn and Jupiter, they're both going direct in your house of adventure, there is a string behind the scene that pulls you back. It could be power play in your partnerships. It could be just feeling of not confident enough to go live with something, or some sort of unconscious belief and fear that is blocking you and stringing you back. We have the last 2 months of North Node in your sign when we walk the path of our destiny, and there is no holding you back during these 2 months. So we will address both the light side of things, the positive side of things, as well as the darker side of things, the undercurrents that are blocking you from moving forward, to address the both and see how we can positively move forward. This is a very beneficial time for you, and you must take full advantage of that. My name is Charu. I'm your host on this journey. Let's dig in. Gemini, till 23rd of October, we have sun shining in a very positive house for you. Not only that, we have 3 planets, Mercury, your ruler, Sun, Mars, our drive, all of them focused on bringing to life what you're truly passionate about. It could be a creative project, it could be a love interest, it could be children, just your focus on children. The things that truly bring you joy, whether they're creative works and contracts, passion project, joyful hobbies, socializing, intellectual pursuits, artistic performance pursuit of fun, playful things, romantic things, social outings, children, or just the thought process around children, or what you need to do more in terms of your children, or the education of your children, or your children's creativity. The beautiful harmonious energy that flows through these houses are positively aspecting you. We just had a new moon in this house as well, which would very positively influence people who have planets between 13 to 16 degree of Gemini especially, which is around 5th of June to 8th of June born. All of you will feel the positive vibe that is coming through that over the course of next 2 weeks, but you would definitely initiate something new, in my view, that you're really passionate about, that brings you joy. It could be a passion project, it could be a business risk. You're taking a risk on your creativity, on your talents, on your future, on your children, on love, and that is definitely very, very potently felt by 13 to 16 degree of Gemini, which is around 5th to 8th of June born. Mars is also having its once in 15 years rebirth in your house of passions. It essentially determines how we go after what we are truly passionate about. How much risk do we take in business? How much risk do we take in love? How much risk do we take for our children? How much risk do we take to make things happen for ourselves? And what sort of drive and patterns we set when it comes to our love interests as well? Who does most of the work, or where the relationship sits in terms of balance when it comes to love interests, and how we go after things that we are passionate about, that we love, whether we go eagerly after them or we try to suppress our own drives for benefit of others. That comes into focus and for a rebirth because of Mars going through a rebirth once in 15 years. Last time this happened was back in 2006. And if any of you actually created a drive for someone or something back in 2006, you'll find a shift in that drive. You'll find a shift in the dynamic of that relationship, or how you go after what you're truly passionate about, what connects you to your own child within, and how you connect with others based of that self-love is determined by these planets. So you're looking at a rebirth of your love for your own self, how you take care of yourself, how you allow yourself to feel that joy and the fun that we used to have when we were kids and we did not have societal pressure or inhibition blocking us. There's a rebirth in hobbies as well, which comes with this, which you should take advantage of. How do you go after the artistic, creative interests that you have? If you have been partnering with somebody, because this is a sign and symbol that we normally partner with somebody in a business venture, or in creativity, or in some sort of pursuit of love or children together, how does the power dynamic in that relationship or that partnership works as well, comes into focus as well, especially if you are in a business with your spouse or with your children. The power dynamics in that will come into focus as well. You enjoy socializing, you enjoy artistic events, you enjoy the joy that comes through conversation with a large set of people. And if something has jaded that joy, or something has blocked you from doing that, some sort of societal pressure or just the condition that we are in right now, you would find yourself taking a different turn with these with this new moon, as well as the rebirth of both your ruler Mercury, which is our mind, and Mars, our drive, in your ability to go after what you're passionate about. You'll go after that with much more vigor than you did previously, because you'll feel something is missing. Something is missing is the first thought that is highlighted to us when your ruler goes retrograde, and your ruler is retrograde till 18th of October. So the first thought process is, what blocks me? What has not allowed me to take the amount of risk I want to take in my life on the things that I am so passionate about, that I feel so deeply about? And it could be because either you meet somebody from the past, either a love interest comes from the past, or somebody from the past comes, and it reminds you the kind of person you were, who used to take a risk on themselves, or who used to do the things whatever they want, by taking enough care of themselves. Some sort of a past reminder of our past self, and our risk-taking ability is reminded to us, and that wakes up a part of us that was possibly dormant for last couple of years, and that reminds us that there is something that we need to pursue that has been dying off within us or outside us, that brings us joy, that wakes us up to our own identity. You may need a review of your confidence in yourself, because most of these blockages are unfortunately within us. Something outside us can be held responsible, like our responsibilities to our children or to our family or to our loved ones can be held responsible for us not pursuing what we truly want. But ultimately, there's a review of how we give ourselves the bandwidth and the love that we need to be given. So the confidence that you have in your own talents, in your own skill sets, and your ability to take risk in life, which will come into focus, because you're trying to figure out very actively till 18th of October what is not letting you flow. Because you have the sheer desire to go after the creative projects or the positivity or the joyfulness that you used to possibly have in the past. It's like somebody who gets into a relationship or gets into a partnership or gets too involved in a business activity, and they lose the lust for life. And these retrogrades, which are very rare, Mercury goes retrograde in this house for you only once in 6 years. So last in 2015 is when you had this kind of review, and you might see some patterns from 2015 coming back in the current moment. It could be a person, it could be a creative interest, it could be a love interest, it could be thought process around children that are coming back to you at this time from the past, reminding you that there's something that is not letting you flow. It's not a time to compare your life with another, because this is the time for the unique. What is unique about you and your faith in it and your ability to go after it. So the creative houses that are getting activated right now, they're bringing out what's unique in you when it comes to your artistic ability, your creative abilities, your literacy. This is the house of literacy. So if you used to love to write or you used to read, some sort of those interests would be coming back to life, and they will be prompting you to pursue them again, not because of the interest itself becoming business in some ways, but more from the perspective that they used to bring you to life in your uniqueness, and somehow in being conforming to some sort of a joint situation, or to children, or to family, or to societal pressure, or to business situations. You might have given up those interests, and now you're woken up to that, and it has impact beyond just pursuing the hobby, because when you let yourself flow in the things that you truly love and desire, you've let the risk ability expand in your business aspects as well. So our ability to have more confidence in our hobbies, in our interests, in our ability to take care of ourselves also flows into our ability to take risk in business. And that is a very intrinsic part of what you might be analyzing. Your financial creativity, or your ability to take a bet on some sort of business venture, which is possibly joint in nature. You might be reviewing that. You are reviewing whether it still interests you, whether the fire that you have towards a creative or a business venture, you will relook at it, and you should relook at it till 18th of October to truly figure out, is that you, or were you doing it because of the joint factor that comes with it? Are you enjoying it? Are you getting the kind of returns that you desire out of it? And it could be a specific risk that you might be about to take when it comes to business venture or creative ventures that require a deeper look, and that might require you to do a thorough analysis till 18th of October. We are in the forward-looking part of Mercury retrograde now. So from now to 18th of October, it's more the time to work forward versus looking back. Possibly you've already done the looking back at the past, or the past that was supposed to come back to us has already come back. Now we are reigniting the fire towards a creative venture, a love interest, or how we want to go about in terms of having children or taking care of children, or the education of children might be under reconsiderations, being inspired, being more curious, being more romantic in some ways, because this is the house when we have retrogrades over here, and you might have experienced that back in 2015. We rekindled romance in some ways. It's not about returning to the past. Even if the past lovers or the past love interests, they do come back, they usually come back to show us how far we have grown and what is the gap between the past and the present, or in some ways to close the chapter, release the chapter and move forward from it, or learn and grow from it, rather than going back to the past person or situation because you left it because of a reason at that time. It's a good time to reignite your fire in your existing relationships, reconnect with your children in some ways, what makes them happy, what makes you happy, what makes the connection stronger. Also flow with things. What blocks you from flowing with things? There are more than one ways to get to the destination that you're aiming for. It's the time to figure out what is your unique way to get there. Because under the pressure of how the general social group is doing it, or a group that you're part of is doing it, sometimes we tend to lose our uniqueness in the verve to make a difference in a group. And it's your time possibly to figure out what appeals to you versus to a large set of people or the group that you're part of. So that's the process in my view till 23rd of October. What's happening along with that is Pluto, the planet of transformation, is going direct in your house of power. And that is the undercurrent in my view that is in play this month. And it's not just in play this month, because Pluto has been here since 2008. It doesn't mean that power struggles in partnerships and relationships would have existed since 2008, because the specific incidents related to power struggles, they come to life when Pluto is specifically aspecting our degrees. And right now Pluto is at 24 degree. It's aspecting 24 degree of Gemini, around 2 degrees before and after would feel it much more stronger than the rest, which is around 15th of June born, 2 days before and after. What's happening with Pluto in your house of power? And this is a very complex undercurrent, which to most people who know Gemini, they would not see it on the surface, because on the surface you are all light, in my view. As a social person, the kind of persona that Gemini archetype that comes across to the rest of the people is very light and very happy in some ways. But there's an undercurrent that Pluto has initiated since 2008, especially in your joint situations, in your partnerships, which is in play. We are born with certain elements within ourselves, certain drives within our own self. And those drives and those elements I say because they are looked down upon by society, because they are elements like wanting to do well, sometimes need for power, need to do well financially, eagerness for ambition, eagerness to do well, to be aggressive, to be more powerful in a joint situation. These are elements within us which, because of our upbringing and because of the way societal pressure exists on how negatively these things are viewed on, even though they are part of our armor, and you will see most people who move forward, they have to one or the other time use those elements, those drives within themselves to move forward. In your case, those drives, those elements, they have been tamed over ages. They have been tamed as well as denied in some ways. You have Capricorn in the house of power, which means either through parental pressure or through the pressure of some sort of authority in your life, we were at some point in our life tamed to contain those elements within us. But the thing is that when you try to tame the negative elements within you, which are looked as negative because they are powerful elements, so the person in front of you, they feel threatened sometimes by that element. When you contain those elements within you, you also contain your own power and your ability to stand your ground in joint situations. This also extends beyond ambition. It also goes to sexual drives. We are denied in more than one ways, and it does not let us go free. There is some sort of hidden control that stays in our life for a long time. When Pluto came here in 2008, you started a process which in some ways is called Kundalini release, which is a coiled up serpent power, which is within ourself in our sacral chakra, that is being released slowly. I know it sounds metaphorical, but it is considered as physically real as possible. There's a latent energy, reserve of energy within our body that is released when Pluto transits this part of our chart. And that reserve of energy has been given a negative connotation, both socially as well as through parental pressure or pressure of some authority figure in your life, early in your life possibly. That makes you almost scared to express that part of you, the ambitious, the driven, the sexual part of you. And the challenge now with Pluto here is to rediscover that power, that pattern within yourself and find a productive expression of it, whether it is in your joint situations when it comes to dealing with people and the power struggle and the undercurrents that come with it, which you would be experiencing very strongly as Pluto goes direct right now. Amongst all of this positivity, there is an undercurrent of power struggle that is in process in joint situation that is hampering you from moving forward, and that is coming from an origin of being denied your power much earlier than today. And the productive channeling of this, whether it is in form of being the right kind of aggressive professionally, the right kind of ambitious professionally, or in some ways the objective side, sometimes our objective side is given such a negative connotation. People don't like the objective side of us. Why are we not emotionally riled up about this more? There's There's a stigma of a pattern which is inherently you, which is actually your strength, which has been given a negative connotation by an authority figure early in your life. And now you are being challenged to bring that back. People of exceptional drive and power were born with Pluto in the 8th house. They have tremendous energy to find resources in crisis. So while Pluto in 8th house, it comes with its share of issues in relating to others, which normally Gemini are not meant to have, because as an archetype, these elements within you have been tamed early in life. So you don't really get into those power struggles normally in life, but they have been woken up with Pluto here. There's a tremendous energy to find resources in situations of crisis like we are in right now, especially a collective crisis. Having Pluto in 8th house gives you the ability to see through that crisis and look at the opportunity. So despite the power struggles that come with this placement with others, which push you to rediscover the resources of energy and power you have within yourself, they will push you to the corner when finally you give up that inhibition to show your ambitious side, to show your powerful side, to show your ability to be powerful in a joint situation. They'll push you to the corner to get there, but at the same time, it will give you tremendous energy to find a powerful resource, which could be financial equity, finding financial lucrative opportunities in a situation of crisis, or finding a way to be a leader or a spiritual leader in moment of crisis for people. Reorient your own use of power, whether it is in physical, mental, social, or emotional situation. That is what Pluto in this situation is guiding you through. Winston Churchill had this placement in his natal placement, and he took a nation through war. That is the kind of energy, tremendous energy, that Pluto reveals in situation of crisis. But it also wakes up your desire for power, your desire for money, your desire for sex, your desire for channeling all of it that was blocked for ages. So you have to do it proactively instead of something within you coming out in a very negative fashion in a power struggle. Instead of that, we have to get things channeled versus it this tremendous energy coming out in a explosive way. So breaking taboos in partnerships, managing power struggles in partnerships, some sort of transformation that is being brought in your life, and the process started in 2008, and you have been in the process of that. It could be that in 2008 a transformative relationship or a pattern started in partnership, and it doesn't have to be a relationship only of emotional nature. It could be a relationship, a karmic partnership, a karmic debt of some sort which has carried since that time, and that has been a source of transformation in your life, where you have been pushed to show up with all that you have within. So close contacts and relationships, it will show up in form of emotional drives and some amount of power struggles. Inheritance, tax, business deals, some of the matters related to separation even with somebody, they can be very complicated and power struggle ridden, and we learn from them. We learn to stand up for ourselves when it comes to joint situation. There's a change which comes with Pluto here in what and who we want when it comes to returns of partnership, what kind of intimacy we want, what kind of financial returns we want, what kind of depth we want in our relationships, in our partnership, and what kind of financial abundance we want, what kind of sexual connections we want. That goes through a process of transformation. Now, Pluto was retrograde, working behind the scene, maybe pushing you to own your power for the last 5 months since April when it went retrograde. But now with the process moving forward, you'll find that all that has transformed within now will need an external channel, And whatever you're launching or starting that you're passionate about, you'll have to overcome some sort of power struggle or some sort of inner complex to get there. And that will be very evident on specific dates this month. On 17th of October and 22nd of October, we would find that evident either through a blockage to a risk you want to take. It could be your own, you might be fighting against your own darker side or your own unconscious side, or the fear within you, or that authority figure voice going on speaking loudly against you doing what you love. And that would be blocking you from taking a risk on yourself or bringing joy to yourself. This is the dark and the light. This is the dark side or shadow side of us, which will be actively fighting, and it could come in form of a actual conflict, power struggle with an external person. And this could be very emotional and tension ridden. It is something that blocks your love. It blocks your creativity. It blocks the positivity you can feel with your children. There's something that needs to be detoxed. It could be an emotional pattern. It could be a helplessness in some ways, or powerlessness that comes sometimes in a joint situation. Sometimes it's an actual financial dependency on the partner which comes here. There's sometimes a trade that is in process, a manipulation that is in process in a joint situation where we unconsciously are in a manipulative situation and we don't realize it. We are required to own and see it and detox the manipulative part of it and own our power in that relationship. When Pluto is here, we see things that others don't see. That's the positive side of it. We see trends that others don't most evidently see. There's a forbidden knowledge when Pluto is here that is given to us, which is like animals who are able to sense an earthquake coming. That's how one of the astrologers had described it. And it's like you can sense, you have the sixth sense. And that's the reason why many of the Gemini rising, especially, we have lately seen getting into astrology or into deeper knowledge, because there is a desire to know the world's deeper side or the gain secrets of the cosmos in some ways by learning these deeper subjects. And similarly, financially, there might be desire to learn more about some deeper subjects that gets woken up with Pluto over here. So this forbidden knowledge that calls to you, you should use it for your positive by gaining mastery on certain subjects that are not easily accessible to others. This can be both in financial matters, it could be creative as well, where we bring the dark and the light side of human psyche into creative manifestation, your ability to see both sides of life, bringing that to life, because you might be able to go where others cannot go and see what others cannot see. So taking advantage of that creatively can be a very positive use of this very tension-ridden aspect that you're riding through. And the aspect is in play exactly on 17th of October and 22nd of October, but throughout the second half of the month, you'll feel this dark and the light side of you conflicting with each other. Like you want to have fun, you want to let the joy and the creativity flow, but there is need to fight something to let that flow, and that is an unconscious pattern or some sort of power dynamics that we need to get over. The positive manifestation, as I said, is that you are able to see what others cannot see. Unconsciously, you're gaining some knowledge that others don't have. Also, when Pluto is over here, we have a unseen power over others. This is a very sexual energy. We have some sort of voodoo power over others in some ways. Especially, we don't see it very evidently, but there is an sexual undercurrent which comes with this. I'm not saying taking advantage of the sexual undercurrents, but you would not realize how much power you have over others in this case. And that is something to recognize, that your words and your actions, they have transformative power over the people around you as well. This carries a huge potential for ability for a person to transform the people who come in contact with them, especially emotionally, taking them through a very strong ride and transforming and healing them at a very deep level. And that's why a lot of healers, as I said, and astrologers right now, and even counselors, they're going through this process of who are Gemini rising, going through that process. And it's some of the new astrologers, they have established that Gemini is a sign of astrology. Gemini is not a sign of astrology. But with Pluto transiting the sign, there's a very different side of Gemini, which is to ability to collect information and this ability to see the insight through that information which others don't see. That is coming to life, and that makes you very good fit for being able to see what others don't normally see. This is a transformation that you're going through partnerships, through sharing of resources, and it has come through possibly through some amount of trauma as well, because when Pluto is here, the regeneration comes through a process of trauma which you possibly have been through. Sometimes that comes in form of a loss of someone, sometimes it comes through issues in power sharing with a partner. And Pluto will be here till end of 2023, till January of 2024. Doesn't mean all of you will be going through it. As I said, when it specifically aspects your planets, that is when it is felt most strongly. But when Pluto is going direct, as it's doing this month, and it's forming these aspects, it's woken up for most of you. But of course, the 24 degree of Gemini, which is around 15th of June born, will feel this the most. There's a transformation that happens through partnership, or we enter partnerships which can be very transformative for us emotionally, financially, structurally. They change us both in how we look as well as how we emotionally are as a person. They bring about a change in our mannerism as well as our psychology. And this could happen through marriage. It could happen through a business, financial partnership with somebody. And there is some amount of, you can feel it, that there is an undercurrent. So some amount of fear that comes in getting in partnership with somebody, with the fear of losing power. That is not a very right way to handle the energy, because there's no right way. You have your own way, but may not be the right lesson that transit is trying to get to you. Pluto in your 8th house intends to have a death and rebirth process in your life of your own emotional parents through another. So whether it is through sexual relationship with another, it is through an emotional relationship with another, or a linkage which is of financial nature with another, or it is through manipulation that comes in partnerships, or issues that come in tax, insurance, loans, legacy, inheritance matter, which are again joined with someone, or the benefits that come. It will both enrich you ultimately, change you financially, as well as transform you emotionally, but it will come through its process of going through a death and rebirth process in a joint situation. And you'll feel that very, very strongly amongst all this light and happiness that these aspects are bringing to you. That will be the undercurrent that we'll have to work through. That is the undercurrent that we can take advantage of and grow from, and show the first positive sign of a positive expression of this power when these moments of struggle come on 17th and 22nd of October. So that's the Pluto transit. Let's go to the adventure side of things, because we have two positive planets going direct in your house of leap of faith and adventure. And that's also happening this month. And that's happening on 18th of October. We have Jupiter, the planet of expansion, finally going direct in your house of adventure, and it has been retrograde since about 20th of June. So your growth in whatever is the leap of faith that you're taking this year, that might have been stuck for the last 4-5 months. And now with Jupiter going direct, finally we are able to move forward in expansion, in travel, in publication, in matters of reaching out to people who are different from you, networking with people, moving forward. Because Jupiter over here wants you to expand your influence. It wants you to expand your knowledge. It wants you to expand your ideology and learn something that you have not learned. This is the sign, this is the aspect that happens once in 12 years. You had this back in 2009, so you can see how positively or negatively it works for you. But it is normally the aspect when we become a sponge. We have such sharp learning curve when Jupiter is in its own house, which it does till December for you. So we are in the last 2 months of this very, very positive aspect, where education, teaching, publication, diversity in interaction with people, media, publicity, promotion, conferences, journals, magazines, group thinking, group activity, radical thoughts, public speaking, they are encouraged, and you get multiple opportunities to be able to do that. Or if you try to do it, you get the support for it. So the projects that are that are to deal with publication, sharing your higher knowledge with others, traveling to spread your knowledge and your information, traveling to learn more, traveling for philanthropy, for humanitarian causes. Even if you're not able to physically travel, this is the travel of the mind as well. So interacting with people who are far away from you or culturally completely different from you, using media, publicity, conferences, promotions to meet people who are different from you. This is intense expansion of your mind and your thought process and your belief system. This is the house of mind and ideology, which is Jupiter's own house, where Jupiter is residing for you right now till December. And this is the process of 2021. Jupiter is here only till 2021. But what it has done in December of 2020 is that it combined with Saturn. And we spoke about this back in December in 2020. I'll link the reading I had done back then for you, because when it combined with Saturn, it also seeded something that is going to be the source of your growth for the next 20 years. Because Saturn is structure, Jupiter is growth, and a new structure of your growth is coming to light with these two planets working together in your house of adventure, leap of faith, publication, belief system. So there could be something ideologically different that you're bringing to life on a platform, which could be education related, teaching related, publication related, where you're sharing your higher knowledge with a set of people, and that could become your source of growth and abundance over the course of next 20 years. I'll link that below because I don't want to repeat all the things that I mentioned over there, but know that you were working on something structurally for the last 4 or 5 months behind the scene when it comes to education, publication, acquiring knowledge, returning to school, certification, travel for education, travel for expansion, or redefining your philosophy so you can expand more, redefining your ethics, redefining and relearning legal systems or legalization in a foreign country, or apt social behavior because you're relocating to a new country, or going ahead and working with a very different culture altogether, a different way of viewing the world in education, in culture, in mindset, in philosophy. If you were reworking and rewording something over the course of last 4 months, now things start moving forward, and both Saturn and Jupiter are in positive aspect with you. This is a leap of faith that you have been structurally working on, possibly throughout this year, because it was seeded in December, but the first steps are taken in 2021, and then they become the source of your growth for the next 20 years as a new cycle is born of your structural abundance through it. You will find that as Saturn goes direct right now as well, along with Jupiter, that the pressure required to get it done would also increase, which means that there might be something which is coming for delivery. If you've been living too much in the head and not writing it, for example, you have the theory but not the practical. Now becomes the time when we have to launch it, when we have to bring it to that theory to practical in some ways. So you would be challenged to bring it to life now, especially from 23rd of September onwards, because Saturn will start now putting pressure as well, that we know what we want to take as a leap of faith. We have the structure behind it. We have the belief system around it. Now let's go live. So you'll find that on 30th of October, there could be a lot of pressure that is created to deliver something when it comes to this leap of faith, this publication, this theoretical concept, this expansion education that you sort of have been looking as the next step of growth for you. This is forward looking, not backward looking. This is your future that you're working on, the next 20 years of growth for you. So on 30th of October, there would be some amount of pressure to bring the practical reality of it to life. And then on 10th of November, we'll have the same. So especially 30th of October and 10th of November, we'll have to really tame our horses and bring this thing home in some ways. And Saturn will put some pressure on that. Saturn right now is operating at early degrees. So the early degree Gemini will feel the pressure the most, which is around 7 degree of Gemini, which is around 28th of May born Gemini Sun. 2 degrees before, 2 degrees after. Saturn will continue this journey all the way till 2023. So you'll find that this is a process that has not just ended now. The discipline part of it will continue till next year. But what's happening is that Jupiter is only here for next 2 months. So expansion opportunities coming on this are till December, and we got to take advantage of that, which means that you should network, you should look at opportunities for publications, for publicity, for reading, for writing, for pinging a mentor, for pinging a teacher, for becoming a motivational speaker, for some sort of travel if you are able to do, or interaction with people who are different from you. You should take advantage of this over the course of next 2 months. Jupiter is a little further than Saturn in terms of degrees. So it is specifically aspecting 22 degree, around 22 degree of Gemini right now, which is around 13th of June born Gemini Sun. So it's further down, and we'll find the benefit of this Jupiter, especially on 15th and 18th of October, when it is forming a positive aspect with 22 degree of Gemini especially. So there could be some sort of a expansion opportunity that comes through a discussion with somebody, especially around 15th and 18th of October. But for all of you, I cannot emphasize this enough. You have North Node last 2 months in your sign. Don't hold your horses. Share what you know. Once your ruler goes direct after 18th of October, don't hold your horses. It's the time to share what you know. Read, publish, ping a mentor, be brave with whatever you're doing, because it's the time of leap of faith. We get Jupiter in our house of faith, in our house of expansion once in 12 years. Last you had this kind of expansion back only in 2009. So take advantage of the next 2 months that we have of this year till Jupiter is still here, because it's an excellent aspect with you. It will move into your career visibility house, which is also great in 2022. But it will come with some amount of pressure next year. Right now, it's offering you the chance which flows easily. It's also firming up your belief in yourself, which you should take advantage of, which could be through a process that you're able to set up. We need to do something to create more faith in what we are doing. So a gratitude process or a positive thinking process is something that is greatly encouraged with Jupiter over here, and you should take advantage of that. But just share what you know over the course of next 2.5 months. Don't hold your horses. Go ahead, share what you know, and move forward with it. This is the process of the external planets going direct. We have one more last thing that I'm going to talk about, and that is Aries full moon, which is happening on 20th of October, which puts you out in the limelight. This is a very, very cardinal full moon that is coming. When we have a cardinal full moon, we need to act something. It looks to me like you're going live with something with this Aries full moon. It is specifically happening at 27 degree of Gemini, influencing 27 degree of Gemini, which is around 18th of June born. So around 18th of June born, around 3 days before or after, or around 27 degree of Gemini, might be taking an initiative finally. You're passionate about a vision, you're passionate about a goal or an ideal, or going public with something. This is where you stand out. You stand out as something that you've been pioneering for and this socially benefits you big time. This is an aspect where you'll be required to show this undercurrent of regeneration of power that is happening below the surface. Now we got to bring it out. by launching something very boldly. This is in some ways could be a dream come true for some of you, because it could be a public launch of something that you've been working on behind the scene. The social activity will be very, very, very high, and you should be socially very active after this period. After 20th of October, your ruler is direct, things are all moving forward. It's the time to go. It's the time to launch something. When we launch something on social media to a large set of people, usually these kind of aspects play out. So the period from 20th of October to 4th or 5th of November, they are best for you to network, launch something, socially interact with people, make an important connection, make an important change when it comes to your friend circle. There'll be a lot of motivation and energy to connect with people, and your goals will be very actively pursued. But these goals are not just personal, they could be social goals, they could be for a group, or they could be for getting into a group. So seeking out groups, associations, friends, connections, this activity is very, very good for it. It's in positive aspect with you. It's your natural social butterfly mode which is coming to life, and connect to like-minded people, connect to people who have different dreams, different visions, and find those groups, find your connections, find your tribe with this. Sometimes with full moon comes closure and release as well. There could be something in terms of friendships and connections that can come to light, and with Pluto aspecting this full moon, there could be a power struggle that can come into light as well with a friend. It could also be with an elder sibling, or with a mentor, or with a platform person that you're working with. There could be a stalker sometimes online that can happen. Unfortunately, those kind of things also come into light with this kind of connection, especially for 27 degree of Gemini, which is around 18th of June born. You need to be careful in terms of your online interaction. There could be some amount of power struggle that can start out of nowhere. You're learning a new way when it comes to social interactions. And this full moon is a closure of something that started in terms of your patterns of connecting with others in 2015. As I said, there could be lessons and past from 2015 that could be coming back. So you might be bringing a pattern that started in 2015 to closure. It could be an actual group association, or a friendship, or a connection, or a pattern of connection with an elder, or with a group, or with a sibling that is coming to an end with this full moon. And you need to put your individuality now out to a platform, or pioneer an idea that you've been working on, leaving behind a pattern of the past to be able to do that. And behind it can be a lot of power struggles that are working behind the scene that need to be handled, or there could be a fear that needs to be handled, a fear of being in front of a large set of people that we need to handle and deal with during this time. The T-square with Pluto will also highlight a pattern that needs to die within us sometimes to be able to network or to pursue a dream that we have. It could be a dark side or a complex within us that needs to be finally exited. It could be a fear that we need to exit. It could be anger, addiction. This points to sometimes a detox, a major detox of a junk that is in our life. It could be a product. It could be something that you're eating, something that you are with, somebody who you are with. But there could be a detox, a major realization that happens that in order for me to pursue my goal, in order to get me to the level that I want to go when it comes to social visibility, when it comes to a network, when it comes to my hopes and dreams, there's a part of me, a fixed way possibly of merging with another, or some sort of anger or bias that needs to go, something unconscious that is not serving me. Again, part of the Pluto process of exiting something that is not good for you, that might need to go, and that is made very evident with the T-square that forms around 20th of October with this full moon, and the power struggles that you will experience. As I said, that week around 17th and 22nd of October will be very charged. So there might be something that needs to be exited for us to get there. On 1st of November, finally, Mercury will be making an aspect, final aspect with Pluto. You'll find that that's the time period over which some amount of detoxes happen, and a recognition of what needs to end in our life comes into bright focus in your consciousness, in my view. So that's what I have for you. I hope it was helpful. I'll see you in the next reading now. Thank you.